So why would you use dressing exercises as fitness exercises? Why would you take those skills and try to put them there? Well, because we lose those skills. Here's what happens. Our body constantly finds the easiest way to do things. And if the easiest way to sit there right now is with your elbows on the desk or the table or whatever, if the easiest way to go upstairs is to pull yourself up on the railing and lean forward and pull yourself up on the railing, if the easiest way to brush your teeth is leaning on the sink while you're brushing your teeth, then your body's going to find that out and continue to do it until you take notice and take that away. So some of these exercises may not be aerobic, but you can make them aerobic by bouncing around a little bit, or you can simply work on balance, mobility, stability, those kinds of things at a certain part of whenever you exercise. So here's what happened. I was in the locker room one day getting dressed, sitting on the bench, and these two girls were across the room standing up, putting their pants on and their shoes and socks. And I'm like, I'm sitting down to put my shirt on. When did I decide to do that? I didn't ever decide to do that. My body found that that was the easiest way to do that. Since that day, which has probably been 35, 40 years ago, I will not put my pants on sitting down. I will not get dressed sitting down. Now, Dr. Mary Wykle, who's here today, will tell you the first thing she told me was, you have to be safe. So I stand next to a wall. I stand next to a very comfy bed in case I fall, or next to a chair or something that will hold me up. But I now and then I will sit down and put my pants on, but I'm aware of it. I know I'm doing it because I'm tired or I feel rotten or something like that. But all the other times, oh no, you can be sure I'm standing up, putting those pants on. And that is a skill that we need. If you sit down and get dressed, your body will lose the ability to stand up and get dressed. So
Mhm.
we need to keep our skills while we have them. We need to keep that ability as long as we possibly can, because there will probably come a time when I have to sit down to get dressed. I just don't want to do it yet. So, first of all, think about this. You're standing on one foot, you've got the waist of your pants right here, and you're standing on one foot. You're getting balance right away. You're working balance. Your arms are busy because they're trying to find the right spot for your a leg, and your other leg is moving around trying to find the right hole to put in the pants. That's great balance skills. So even if it's not aerobic, well, add some bouncing to it. But you won't get as much balance, but you'll get more cardiorespiratory. Do what you want, but think about that. And if you're working in a pool, I found out that you don't want to bend over to teach yourself to put your pants on because your face goes in the water. So, all right, but then the next step um, is that we get this mobility. We have this flexibility that we continue to use. So while you're standing on one foot, your spine is flexed all the way to your head because you're looking down, trying to find that right hole for your leg to go in. And you're trying to reach as far as you can. Your arms are going all the way down to your foot. If your arms can't go down to your foot, you can't get your foot in those pants. And so you've got all that mobility and you get the foot in, and then with your arms you're pulling in towards your body and up. On the next leg, you discover an awful lot of stability because you you can't move around that waistband. It's in one spot. And you've got to get that other leg up high enough and get those pants down low enough and get your arm down far enough and lean over far enough to get your foot in. And then as you're pushing it through, start to pull your pants up. Let me tell you, the year they changed to leggings, oh my gosh, That was way harder than blue jeans. Blue jeans, my foot just went through. Leggings, it's like, "Arr!" It was a struggle the whole way. But I'm still doing it. I'm still doing it. And I truly think we need to do it. That second leg, all I can tell you is switch off. One time, put the right leg in first, second time, put the left leg in first, because getting that second leg in is a struggle. It's really hard. Anyway, these are exercises where you gain balance skill, where you gain mobility, where you gain stability, where you learn proprioceptive input. You get that kinesthetic awareness of where you are and what you're doing. And the other day, Bud was still sleeping when I got up and got dressed. Try it in the dark. You try finding those holes in your pants when it's dark and you can't see anything. So definitely there are progressions you can make with the eyes closed with different things. And there are definitely different clothes you can try on too. But I wanted to talk to you first about pants today. So does anyone else have a comment?
Doesn't always work.
It does not always work.
I have on at dusk, off at dawn candles in my windows. So I always have a little bit of light in the window that,
Oh,
you can stick the pants on if you need to.
that's good. Yeah, because those are tough. And Mary's right.
Yeah.
It doesn't always work.
Yep.
And there are times when I was doing it in the dark, I just put my arm on so that I was against the wall because
Yeah.
I didn't want to have I just wasn't getting enough of the sensory stimulation that I needed, and I needed that wall to make sure I was doing it since I couldn't see the whole of the pants. But think about pulling a jacket on. I brought one here. You have to have well, think about a t-shirt. You've got to put your arms overhead. You have to pull that over your head. And then you have to be able to squeeze your arms in those holes. That's not going to be comfortable. You just have to keep doing it over and over and over again, or else we're going to lose it. And that's the last thing we want to do. I couldn't remember how I put a jacket on. That's what comes from living in Florida. Anyway, this is what I do. I put both arms up behind me, then I put it down, and then the arms go in, right? But some people can't get the jacket up and over, so they start on one side like this, and then they have to reach over and pull, 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 pull until they get the other side in. All of those, I'm not saying do an exercise. Well, yeah, do an exercise called put your jacket on. But it doesn't have to be that. You can be jogging and put your arms overhead and pull them down over your head and then squeeze your arms in. We can put this into exercise. And I think if we do something like that, we are going to help people more than just jogging.
Yeah. And another thing with it being cold weather in the Northeast, if you have a sweatshirt on that's really nice and you put a fleece jacket on, it's a little tough to get it on, but try getting it off when you're sitting in a car with a seat belt and you've got to maneuver and nothing's moving. So,
Oh, that's a
so
great
that's another
idea.
whole exercise of getting out of the jacket. How do you begin to do that?
That's right. And pants off.
Yeah.
Hands off. What do you do? Don't sit down to do it. That's all. I just I just truly believe we need to keep the skills we have. I believe we have to take it back. Whatever skills we've given away, we take back, and when it's time for them to go, then goodbye.
When I travel
Ah,
and I'm going like on a train from Rome to Milan or something like that, and I have my carry-on, but I have my backpack.
Yeah.
Okay. Try taking that off sometimes when you have a jacket and something else on top, and you're gonna sit down and you know there aren't that many. Well, when we are on the train, you have reserved seats, but I mean, you have to get in, you have to kind of sidle in, and you have to take it off and get it down and pull it around, and then of course my bracelet gets stuck in it, so I can't take it out. And then you don't want to lose your watch on it, so you're being careful, and you're by yourself, so you can't ask anybody to help. And then you have to take off your jacket and hang. I mean, these are all things that are so, and the train is moving.
Yeah, fast.
I love that.
Yeah,
And to do it in a restricted place. Then I'm
yes.
going to try to add that. I'll get my back close to the wall and see if I can
Oh, yeah,
use
well,
that.
I mean, come to Italy.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So I can practice jacket and backpack. Okay. Yeah.
And the backpack, because the backpack is heavy because it's got my computer in it, and it's
Right.
got, books and stuff and you're trying to take it off, and you're wiggling around like, so it's like back, shoulders, and pull, and not only out, it's in and in, and push it down and not drop it on the floor. Oh, really?
It's just like getting dressed. You have to lift up, but wearing something heavy because you
Yeah.
have to lift it up and get your arms in. And then for sure, one strap's going to be longer than the other, and you have to adjust that. Terry Mitchell taught me one time, and I love this, and I do this. Put your backpack on the front, not to make it easier to put on, but it does make it easier to put on, but to keep you from hunching forward and carrying it on your back like this. Instead, it makes you pull your back straight and carry that weight in the front. Of course, you look like a pregnant woman, but it works.
Yeah.
Well, if you put a big enough coat over the whole thing, maybe somebody will give you a seat on the train because you're pregnant.
Well, I have to say, one thing though, and I really hope more people start thinking about this, is maintaining neutral spine. So no matter where you put the backpack, whether it's in the front or the back, you're going to be pushing up against the force of gravity, because that is so important. I mean, you can't, just because you're carrying something doesn't mean you have to be hunched over for it. We have the best equipment in the world always at our disposal, and it's called the force of gravity, which is always pushing us down. So we always have to push up against it. And as you pull up, and you pull up your chest, and you pull up your head, you pull up the cervical spine, your abs start activating. So, I mean, it's you're working your whole body just by sitting up straight. And then you can start doing all this stuff, but at least you don't have to worry about your back doing weird things, because it's ready. It's all, the muscles are all ready to react to whatever movement you do, I think. That's my,
And that applies to dressing. So
yes.
I can see putting exercises into other exercises that would replicate what we do on a daily basis, whether it's putting gloves on or pulling on a sweater that's tight on your arms, or there are so many different things. I don't wear a belt, but my husband still uses a belt, and having to do that. And I think we should implement these things into exercise somehow. And I like your idea, because this way we can implement and still maintain that alignment so that people are safe with balance. However, putting your pants on, you're going to have to lean forward.
And if you're
Or you can pull up your leg, your knee, so it's all the way up here, and you're standing up.
Right. I've tried that. Doesn't work for me, but yes, if it works for someone else who can just get their foot up to where their hands go. But in order, I'd have to have my foot up really high because my hands just don't go down that far.
Got the same problem.
Right. Mary?
and
Long
then
trunk, short arms.
and then you can always add in putting on socks and centering
Pantyhose.
yourself over one leg and leaning and putting on socks. A very fine friend told me that many, many years ago, so I still do it, Ruth.
Good. I'm glad you do.
Sometimes a little wobbly, but
And now we've got the I Chi posture called rounding, where
Rounding.
you round and reach toward your foot.
Yep.
And I just have my clients put their hands on the outside of their foot and slide up the leg and pretend they're putting socks on. It works really well. Now, Mary
Perfect.
wanted to jump in.
Go ahead, Mary.
Okay. I have a lot of thoughts on this. Um, First of all, I will say when we were in New York last weekend, um, the hotel had new mattresses, and they came up to about mid chest level, and no way to get in the bed. And so I leaned against that because the chairs were pretty much broken down. And this is a top rated hotel. Um, but I want to go to a completely different way of looking at this. And it comes from occupational therapy. Linda's had experience. And as you know, you look at any part of my body and I have a fusion. So, me doing all these things standing up is basically impossible. And what I do, and many occupational therapists have never thought of this. Well, when I had my spinal fusions, um, it was expected. Well, the first one I had, the lady said, "You'll never be able to wear a shoe that ties again." Well, you don't tell me something and it's going to happen. Um, and, Ken was supposed to help dress me. Well, that's not needed. Um, what I do, and I do sit down most of the time to get dressed. It depends on how much of a hurry I'm in and what I'm putting on. Um, with a fused ankle, that foot does not slide through the pants leg.
Right.
So
Yeah.
you've got to get that up. And with knee replacements, the leg does not flex as high, the knee does not flex as high as it needs to. And so the easiest thing, well, for back surgery is to just simply lay on the bed and bring your knees up to your chest and get your pants on that way. Um, for many people with hip replacements, um, and Linda can probably talk about this too. One of the things is they say, you know, don't bend forward to put on your pants. And so I had a friend that had hip replacement, and she said, "I'm so tired of her husband helping her." I said, "Well, what you do is you lay your pants out on the floor and you stick your feet into the legs. And then occupational therapists always give you a gripper. And so you
Okay.
take that gripper and you begin to pull it up until your hands reach. And so that's the easiest way to get in. Um, I depends on the socks whether I can get them on without sitting down. But shoes are not a problem anymore because all these companies are coming out with the automatic step-in shoes, the Skechers and the others. And I have to say they are really neat, but they take a skill away from us. So we can do these. Also, when I put a jacket on, I do not reach over my head to find the other arm. I reach behind my back to find it. So, and I will say jackets are a real challenge. And some jackets are much easier than others. So you have to go by what you're trying to wear and what you're trying to put on. But there are ways to get around. Um, yes, standing up. And you'll find that you end up hop, 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 hopping, trying to get that leg all the way in.
And there you got the cardio.
And it depends on Yeah, tights are hard to get on. Um, Straight leg blue jeans that are fairly tight are also hard to get on, especially when they've been washed and dried in hot water and hot temperatures. They automatically shrink. Um, but now with the new wide leg jeans that are so popular, those are much easier to get on. So, but I think this is where we need to get more involvement from occupational therapists in ways to adjust how we get dressed and what we do.
That's true. That's absolutely true. In the meantime, we have to take it back ourselves. I think we have to take charge because often the medical system doesn't. But I have a question for you, Mary. You
Okay?
said you don't put your jacket over your head. So
No.
you put on one arm and you
Arm,
reach behind with the
yeah,
other hand.
right.
Yeah, that's
Opens
That's
what
a
I
up,
do.
lot of mobility for shoulders.
opens up my chest.
Yeah.
That's great.
Triceps extensions.
Tricep extensions. There
Yeah.
we go.
Well, now we've gotten everything on. How do you take stuff off? How do you cross arms and lift up the t-shirt or the sweatshirt to get it off? So there you go. You're opening up. Sometimes you've really got to tug and pull. And then if the jeans are so tight and you're trying to get them off, then you're dancing around trying to get them down, especially if you've got to go to the bathroom quick, then you're really wiggling and trying to get everything down. So it's a whole nother exercise.
Or if
That's
you,
I have the solution. Okay. Buy clothes that are 2 sizes too large.
no way.
Uh-uh.
I think
No.
it's more fun to wiggle and jiggle and giggle.
Yeah. And that's, that's what it's all about. You just laugh at yourself.
When
And then
you're
the cat looks at you like, what the hell are you doing? So,
Well, one thing about getting your pants off, what you do is you get them part way down, and this isn't a one-legged exercise. Then you stand on one leg and take your toes and find the bottom of the pants and pull them on down. And then you do it with the other leg. So you're getting balance on both legs that way.
mhm.
Well, and when you do balance in the exercise class or in the pool, it could be dangerous because you'll fall over. But here you've got it all controlled and you're in charge. So,
Exactly.
yes, safety is major. But I do think we need to do something like this.
Yeah. And then even I love the idea of the slip-in shoes, but there's on the con or the con side of them, where I am, I see so many people that couldn't begin to tie shoes. They buy the slip-on shoes, but they're too big. So they're
Oh,
slipping out of them. And it just, there's, I think, good and bad with the slip-on shoes. So,
that's a great perspective. I hadn't thought of that.
yeah,
Thank you for
yeah,
that.
You
I
got to
think,
get them that fit you.
right. But,
right.
kids get them for parents, and parents say, oh, I take this size. And they're not going to switch their sizes. But I see so many people, it's like, you need like a half size smaller than that because they're like a flip-flop almost. And
Right.
they've got to hold them on. So,
I was working with one person and I said, I want you to pretend like you're putting your jacket on. And so we were doing that in the pool and it was really easy. So I put them a little bit deeper and made them put their feet together. And now
mhm,
it got harder. One
yeah.
person I actually had put one foot on top of the other because if they lift their knee up and stand on one foot, this knee is swinging around helping with balance. So I make them put one foot on top of the other and then try to put the jacket on. So I'm pushing their balance at the same time I'm giving them the skills that they otherwise need. There are so many ways that we can sneak this in or not sneak it in, whatever.
Definitely.
Are we set? Mary, you look like you'd like to.
I'm just thinking that, well, I have two thoughts. Um, First of all, I most occupational therapists have no true understanding of how someone who's had back surgery or knee surgery needs to get dressed, especially their pants, because they have not experienced it. And so it takes the person willing to put their own thoughts into it to come up with solutions. Um, the other one is I am very lucky that I always has a husband by my side that if I go to put a jacket on or take something off, he's right there helping. Um, Sometimes you want to swat them, but uh, too much help can be bad too.
Right,
And so,
right. When people are doing stuff for you, that's that's not teaching you to be independent.
right. And I would tell you that going back to when we talked about shoulders, and I talked about the upper traps and the levator scapula, and how we tend to pull that shoulder up, and if we have cervical problems, we have a lot of pain coming out through there. One thing I've learned is a very lightweight backpack that maybe has 2 cans of soda in it will keep my shoulders down and relieve the pain.
Awesome. Well, thank you for that. That's a great idea. I love getting, we have so much knowledge in our heads that I think it's good to start pulling it out and sharing it. I'm very happy. Anybody else want to jump in before we finish? No,
Nope.
we're set.
Good.
Well, now we're ready to move smart. And now I'm going to try some of those things that you were talking about. I'll have you call the ambulance then. Thank you, everybody, for
I
joining
think we
us.
should look at dressing smart
Dressing smart.
in more ways than one.
Oh, right. 2 sizes too big. Go for it. Thank you.
Okay. Bye, everybody.